So now we're going to demonstrate some grip exercises you can do, simple things you can do using stuff you got around the house or if you go to the gym. The first thing we're going to demonstrate are just some grip exercises using the clamp. You'll see this in a lot of weight rooms for holding the plates onto the barbell. All right, Mike's just going to use this to work on his grip strength. Okay, real simple. Just going to work on gripping and releasing. This again, you want to do high repetition, all right? You want to make sure that it's a resistance that you can get a full squeeze with, not just get halfway and then not be able to squeeze it any further, all right? You can actually change the resistance of this by moving the gripper out toward the end of the fingertips. That can make it a little more challenging to squeeze once you've got it easily being able to be squeezed in the palm of the hand, all right? So this is one thing you can do to develop the grip strength in your finger intrinsics in your palm and the underside of your forearm. The opposite of that is working on, even though with tennis you're not going to be opening your hand and releasing the racket, it comes down to that deceleration, strengthening the backside of your hand to handle that deceleration. So real simple thing you can do using rubber bands at home is place the rubber band around the hand like this. Start out with one and have others available for increasing resistance. And all Mike's going to do is just open the hand and close. So you just open it to the point where you feel that resistance and close. As that gets easier, you can definitely always add in a second rubber band to add the resistance.
This is something that I've actually seen recommended before for tennis elbow specifically.
Excellent. It's a great exercise for strengthening the upper part of the hand, the outside of the thumb, as well as the tendons and the muscles on the upper side of the wrist and forearm.
And the squeezing in is good for forearm strength as well?
Exactly. You know, also in addition to this, with the squeezing in, you can, tennis ball, just working on independently each finger, squeezing against the tennis ball, pinky and thumb, and then ring finger and thumb. So you are working in each finger individually and then as a group squeezing. Simple thing you can do as well to improve your grip.
Great.
Then the last one I want to demonstrate, if you go out and buy rice and a small bucket, you can do some great exercises for your wrist and forearm as well. So the first thing Mike is going to do is he's just going to reach down into the rice. Okay, you want to reach down in until your fingers are submerged at least all the way. Okay, go a little deeper if you can. There we go. So the first thing he's going to do is just like we were doing with the rubber band. He's going to spread his fingers into the rice, okay? And then he's going to close like he's grabbing the rice. Then he's going to open and close. So the rice is providing some resistance all around his hand. All right. It's not going to be the most challenging thing, but again, this is a high repetition exercise. You know, maybe trying to do each of these directions for a minute and then go to the next one. Okay. So you got open and close as one. You can also get down there and do rotational, so almost like he's opening a doorknob. So he's digging into the rice and turning both clockwise and counterclockwise against the resistance of the rice to work his deep forearm muscles and his wrist and hand muscles as well.
This is one I haven't heard of before.
You can also incorporate the rotation with the gripping. So we rotate, squeeze the rice, pick it up, and then just release it. So you get that grip combined with rotation as well. Okay? Just make sure you don't eat the rice afterwards. It might not taste too good. And then the other one you can do is very similar to the exercises we did with the dumbbell, where he's going to go in and just do his wrist flexion and extension, ulnar and radial deviation exercises. So from this position, he's just going up and down against the resistance of the rice. Just like that. And then he can also do side to side. This is something more commonly seen in rehab than it is in injury prevention, people doing it on their own.
Okay.
But it is a great exercise, in my opinion, for people to do, while they're in season, just to keep their forearm and wrist muscles in shape. It's not a very strenuous exercise, but when you do it for a number of minutes, you will start to feel some fatigue in your hand and wrist.
In general, am I correct in assuming that for rehab, we want to go towards more the higher, lower resistance and higher rep type exercises?
In most cases, yes. However, if the goal of your rehab at the phase you're in is for strengthening, there are certain rep ranges and loads that are appropriate for addressing strength.
Okay.
There's certain rep ranges and loads that are appropriate for addressing endurance. There's certain ones that are appropriate for addressing hypertrophy if the muscle has shrunk, to try and get it back up volume-wise. So that's a very individualized component.
Okay.
But in general, for the start of, if you're trying to do some of these on your own, start out with 10 reps and kind of go from 10 to 20. That's a safe range for starting back from injury. Anything heavier than you can do 10 times is probably too heavy for that injury.
When you're first starting?
When you're first starting.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So using that as a gauge. But again, that's something you would want to consult an exercise or a rehabilitative professional on if you do have an involved case with that.
All right, great.
All right, so those are some exercises you can do to address your wrist, forearm, and elbow issues if they come up, but also doing them as maintenance exercises to improve the ability for you to get through a full season with hopefully no flare-ups.